right. I see people jumping over. We got Pray Drive for breakfast, Pray Drive for lunch, Pray Drive for dinner. We even got Alexander Snack Pray Drive. Okay, next thing you know, we'll just be doing 8-hour sessions on Pray Drive all day long. I said on a video last night, I got Pray Drive coming out of my freaking ears. Casey Pendleton, where do you live at?
Dayton, Tennessee.
Oh, nice. The young lady I was working with, we just signed on a young lady to be in our coaching program in Morristown. That's East Tennessee, right? All of you in East Tennessee. And I've been
just north of Chattanooga.
I've been looking at some properties up there where you're at for potential retreat sites. I'm looking either on the water or in the mountains. So every day I have an agent there in Chattanooga sending me, and I'm just going through there going, this one's got potential, this one's got potential, this one's got potential. And the problem, the challenge with vivid visualization, many of you probably have a vivid visualization like I do, and it's both a positive and a negative. The vivid visualization is you could see things. So before you have one thing done, you're already on to 10 others. Right? So my wife is always reminding me before we buy a place in Chattanooga, let's get the Greatness Factory of Nashville built. And I'm like, hey, I see a vision for more retreat sites. It's one of my passions and ambitions. Okay, let me string this over to Facebook real quick, and then we're going to get started. And I want to make this interactive with you guys, because when I think about Pray Drive, I think, and flipping the switch, I literally think about that moment I had this morning. And if you said to me, where do people struggle with this? It's like we start the day with all this energy, and then all of our time and energy and bandwidth is kind of eaten up by low value activity. So we wake up and we really never make any progress toward what I would call our B. So I'm sure many of you have got the book Flip the Switch, or you're going to get the book Flip the Switch, and you're going to see that the whole book is literally trying to muscle you and get you from where you are to where you want to be, from a vision to a manifestation, from an idea to an action. Okay. And if you said to me, what do people really struggle with? Like I wake up in the morning, Coach Breeden, I'm thinking about this insurance thing on the Fortitude. So I called John Wetmore this morning. I said, man, do you think if we had a physical space that people could go to, an office, because now the world's gone all these, do you think it would expedite our process? Because I just keep having this thing like, man, we need a physical place. We need to get people excited. We need to bring them into the office. We need integration. And he's like, man, I'm glad you asked that. When I first started my insurance agency, that was the number one thing we did, is have that physical place people went to. They got trained, they got excited. We built culture. Now the world's gone to all of this. And man, it just goes against kind of what I believe, which is environment is an activator of Pray Drive. When it's like a locker room, right? You're in there together. You're in a battle together. And I went to Chuck McDowell's Christmas party the other night, who's one of my good friends, and we're having lunch tomorrow. He built $100 million company getting people out of timeshares. And what I noticed is that they gave awards. Every person got up there and talked about the fight they were in against the bad timeshare people. And I told my wife, I said, man, he's done an incredible job of selling his people on, we're in a war. And we're not going to work. We're going to war every day. And we're against these evil. There's good and there's evil in the world. And I was so impressed by how they talked. They all got up there and said, man, every day's a battle. We're in the office fighting together. But see, Pray Drive is that instinct I had this morning to call John and go, okay, I want to get some legs in this thing. What do I need to do? Physical office, is that an option? Boom. Well, what happens is we have all these ideas. And especially if you're a certain personality profile on a Colby index, you're a quick start. You have so many ideas, but you just can't muscle the idea into manifestation. And so you got more ideas than you have actions. And if you ask me, how do you really generate millions of dollars? It's not in ideas. It's in action and execution of those ideas. And so it's like, all right, how fast can we take a thought and put the wheels into motion to make this happen, right? And whatever it is between A and B that is stopping me, And for some of it, it's like, man, yeah, I just can't focus. I'm lazy today, or I don't have the discipline I need, or I'm scared to make a decision, or I'm afraid to lose money, or there's all these things that really keep you from moving from A to B versus saying, I'm burning the ships. I'm going all in to go do this. And I'm going to stay focused on it until I see it through to its conclusion. And this young real estate agent this morning asked me, what did maturation mean? And I said, it's the maturity of an idea to its natural conclusion. Okay. That is what keeps people from really being great. So they have an idea, they have a vision, they have a thought. They just, in today's world, they're just so distracted, which means they're pulled apart to actually go make this happen. So they just live, they got the same ideas today they had 6 months ago, they had 3 weeks ago, they had 3 years ago, and there's not enough action. Prey drive is instinct. The animal doesn't think about pursuing, the hunting dog doesn't think about pursuing the prey. Right? It sees it and it goes and gets it. It don't sit there and think about it. It don't sit there and dream about it. It don't sit there and talk to his buddies about it. Like prey drive came from animals. That's where I got the concept. It's prevalent in animals. So I see this as a bystander all the time of people, if you're trying to put deals together. And Casey, you're in the car business, right? I see that Ford sign behind you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I walked into a Mercedes dealership just a few weeks ago and said, I might add another car to our company fleet. Okay. And the guys followed up me maybe 1 or 2 times. He really hasn't tried to sell me the car. He hadn't tried to convince me to buy the car. He's more kind of shamed me for not buying it. And then I walked into a Range Rover dealership and I said, do you have any cars for lease? And they said, no, we're a year to 2 years out on anything new. And there was one on the thing. And I said, what about that one? He said, well, it's $110,000. And, and I said, okay. I mean, I kind of like it. He's never called me back one time, never got my information. And he's probably sitting there going, man, it's hard to make sales today, man. We don't have any inventory. Here's the true thing. He had a legitimate buyer in his showroom who could have bought the car, but he never followed up with me. So what happens is it's like we just can't, it's like we have a thought, but we just can't see. What I would be doing is calling me back until I had a car. And I would be wanting to sell me that car. If I said, I like that car, I'm interested in that car, I would go until I either said, no, I don't want to do it, or, right, that is the maturation of a lead. So if you're out there and you're like, man, I'm struggling to get leads, I guarantee there's people who have indicated interest in your product or service that you haven't followed up to the maturity of the lead. I guarantee you there's dreams you've had, there's ideas you got, there's people you should be following up with, but you haven't followed up to the maturity of the deal. And so that is prey drive. Prey drive is seeing it through to its logical conclusion. Okay. Seeing it through to the logical conclusion. Facebook. For some reason, I can't never get Canada people on these calls. We get all these questions that Zoom won't let Canada people in. Send to my Facebook page because it's on there. Now tell me where you're struggling with this part of taking an idea and seeing it through to its conclusion. So Corinne, I noticed you kind of grimaced when I said quick start, a lot of ideas. Where do you think you struggle the most with taking an idea and seeing it through to the maturation of the idea?
So I'm really good at coming up with the idea, putting everything in motion, but it's getting the manpower motivated to actually fulfill all of the, daily things that would need to take place for it to really, really flourish.
Right. So how many of y'all are dabblers? You start things and you kind of halfway do them. And you just kind of halfway do it. And you're in a bunch of things and you're kind of halfway doing it. Now, I know something from being in things for 10 years or more. I've never really generated major results with anything I dabbled with. Okay. Never. Okay. And anything I've decided, and I said, man, I'm going to back this decision up with daily action. I'm talking, I'm going to focus on it every freaking day. Okay. And I'm going to keep going until I see it through to its conclusion. So think of the prey drive in 3 phases. It's activated. Okay. Because what I was saying this morning about getting up at 4:20, it wasn't that hard yesterday. I was excited. It wasn't harder to get up this morning. It's harder to get through the workout at 5 a.m. Why? I had a day of work. Monday was a lot harder than Sunday was. The grind was a lot harder. right? So, but I made it through it. Now, so what I'm trying to show you guys is the high prey drive people, they not only activate the prey drive, they have the persistence and the intensity of the prey drive. See, Matt Monero used to say this: Mama lied to you when she told you the first step was the hardest. The first step ain't the hardest. Steps 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the hardest. And that's what people can't do, right? So they try something and they quit, and they try something and they quit. Oh, it was, I was talking to my partner, John Wetmore, about the insurance business. Is, you know, these people get into the insurance business, and if they don't make a few sales in the first day or the first week, or they just quit. They just look at all these real estate agents that are giving their license up right now, right? They're literally just cashing in, going, I'm out. I'm going to get a job. It's hard. Can't sell a house. I would question them to say, how hard are you working to sell a house? How much prospecting are you actually doing? Who are you following up with, right? The psychologists tell us, and in another life, I'm going to be a psychologist. I'm just not going back to get another degree because I already got 3 degrees and I'm not going back to college again. Okay. But I love studying psychology. But a psychologist would tell us, under pressure, you fight, you flee, or you freeze. How many people out there in the world's economy today are freezing? Look at what I've done in the last 3 or 4 months as far as effort. I'm working harder than I've ever worked. I'm doing more free things than I've ever done. I'm on Facebook and Zoom and everywhere, double the amount I was before. I've almost gone back to the kind of effort I had during right in 2020, the pandemic. Okay, because I feel like I'm trying to exert that much force and energy to the market. So how do we teach a person that your real problem is persistence? Your real problem is intensity. Your real problem, right? So let's go back to that, because Angela Baker, I'm doing an event with her in February. See, she made a commitment. Then comes the courage. Then comes the capacity. Now she's gonna, after she does one event, she may come back and go, you know what, I'm gonna do a series of these events, or I'm gonna do one. You know, she's gonna learn something new, which was what I was trying to teach the woman last night who was scared. I'm like, man, you're gonna learn a new capacity. All this insecurity you got is gonna be gone, because you're going to have a new confidence about you have never had maybe in your whole life, or you had it and you lost it. So think of prey drive as these phases. I got to activate it. That's the easy part, in my opinion. These Zooms can activate your prey drive for a little bit. Then I have to have a persistence to it, meaning I got to work the muscle. Every day I got to work the muscle. Okay. And then I got to have an intensity toward it, which is why I love timelines and targets. You know, to Angela's point, I set a big goal. I'm going to make this book a bestseller, a Wall Street Journal. I've never had a Wall Street Journal bestseller. And I just committed to it. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what I was going to do it. I just said, I'm committing to this. Okay. Then I went and learned something. I paid 14 grand to go learn how to make it a bestseller. Use all these strategies. Okay, good. Now I got a new capacity. Now, because I got a new capacity, guess what I got? A new confidence. I got a new confidence. Okay. So that setting that target put me in motion towards something that gave me an energy, and it gave me purpose, just to be honest with you. It's like, well, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna push toward that. So Kelly, you see this, you're working with the kids on Success School, and Lord have mercy, our kids are in trouble. If you don't think every kid needs to be in Success School with us, then you've lost your mind. Okay. I'm just going to tell you, because my kid needs to be in it. My 3 kids need to be in it. Your kids need to be in it. And it's because nobody, if they don't have a coach like me or Coach Breeden, or if they don't have a surrogate parent like us pushing your kids, then I'm telling you, they're not going to get the kind of discipline they need. And they're going to get whipped in the future, not physically, but mentally and emotionally. Okay. I'm telling you, because, you know, I see the 20 to 30-year-olds who don't know how to show up for work, don't have a work ethic, they don't have persistence, don't have any intensity. Okay. It's rare. These young kids I worked with this morning were all hungry, but I asked Tommy Davidson, what do they struggle with? You know what he said? Persistence, making phone calls, following up, doing things they got to do to make money. Okay. So Kelly, when you're working with the kids and you're seeing the prey drive, what's the biggest missing structure?
Commitment to self, not knowing their skill sets. They don't know what they're good at. They can't even think of what their purpose in life could be at the age of 16, 17, 18. They don't have vision It's not being taught in the schools, and so it's very rare that they're even hearing what pray drive is or commitment, or even knowing how to communicate. The pandemic has caused such a gap. It was already bad, but now talking to educators, administrators, superintendents across the nation, business owners, this is like a crisis. And so we are working really hard to build a successful program to build these skill sets in to work with these kids at a young age. Early intervention is key. I saw it as an educator years ago in Atlanta, and we built programs very similar to this, but yeah. So coach, they don't know how to commit. They definitely don't know how to communicate, and connecting is a foreign language to them. And so that's what we're doing in Success School.
Now, take everything she just said and tell me you don't work with some adults that have those same problems. They can't connect. They can't show up. They can't follow up. They don't have the resilience to fight through the adversity. They want to quit everything every time something gets tough. Like I want you to see the number of real estate agents that will quit during this period. It'll probably be hundreds of thousands, all because instead of getting up and fighting, they just flee. So they go back to something they don't want to do. And I've said this. I love all the people who've worked with me at some point in my life. I love them all as people. Almost every one of them that quit me went back to an easier job or something where they come to before. They were doing before. It was comfortable and easy. Working with me was harder. And it required so much more. And instead of advancing from me to something bigger, typically when it got tough, they just said, you know what, I'm out. I'm going to go back to doing this over here. It ain't really what I want to do, but it's easier than doing this. And that's not how you want to live your life. So I was thinking about someone the other day I was coaching, and I was just asking them about, man, if you don't do this. Oh, it was a woman last night. She said, I've got a comfortable job. I don't really have any pray drive. Why should I have pray drive? Because I'm making some money and I'm comfortable. She wanted to be a real estate agent. And I said, well, man, let's fast forward to 84 years old. This is called the regret minimization framework. And I'm going to ask you a simple question. Will you regret just living a comfortable life versus trying to reach your potential? If you're sitting here at 84 and you didn't push toward your potential, is that going to be a big regret for you? She said, probably. And I said, okay, you're not going to have pray drive as long as you're comfortable. Okay. Comfort is a suppressor of pray drive. Y'all do realize that, right? What satisfied needs never motivate, only unsatisfied needs. So if all my needs are met and I'm comfortable making the amount of money I want to make, okay, then I'm not going to have any pray drive. And I'm like, until there's a little bit of fear involved in this, as long as you're comfortable, you're not going to push and strive and dream, and you're not going to do anything. You're going to keep doing what you're doing and keep getting the results you're getting. Now,
I'm not just say one more thing.
Yep.
What you just said about that is building these habits, and that he's working with all of us right now, instilling these habits as adults that we are in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Can you imagine instilling these habits when they're 10, 12, 14, 16? A lot of these problems are eliminated. And I want to say this last thing. I had a one-on-one coaching time with a kid named Mario, who's been in our program. And the one thing he told me after 6 weeks in our program, as he works at a martial arts, his confidence is so much stronger that he is able to communicate, look someone in the eye, shake a hand, present his skills with using his strong voice, and take some risks now. He said he could not have done that 6 weeks ago. That's empowering these kids. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why I think the power of a coach in a person's life. A good coach will say to you, what are you doing? Like get up, dress up, let's go. Let's quit whining about this. Okay. So really the message today on Pray Drive is, and really what the whole book is about is, and I've got even these work things you work throughout the book. You do A to B. I bet you do it 10 times throughout the book. And that A to B is going to keep getting clearer. What do I want? What am I? I know what I want, guys. I know exactly how much revenue I want my company to do. I know exactly how the life I want to live. I know really how much I want to work or not work. I know who I want to work with. There's no confusion there. The question is, what steps do I need to take to get there? And do I have the courage to take those steps? Because that's going to require investment, time, energy, money, trust, right, of other people. Okay. So it's like, or we sit here and we fast forward till 1 year from today and we're sitting in the exact same position we are today. Okay. And we don't want that. You don't want it. We don't want it. We always want to be progressing, right? Chris Marks, we want to be progressing toward something. Okay. Now, what I like about what we're doing with Success School is a lot of people complain about education, and we're actually doing something about it. Okay. And instead of complaining about it, we're trying to solve a problem for people. So, that's just one thing that we have going on Success School. But if you got kids and you're interested in that, reach out to Kelly at coachburt.com. She can get your kids in the right program. And I'm telling you, I got 3 kids. It ain't easy raising them kids today. It ain't easy. We need all the help we can get, all the coaches we can get, all the support structures we can get, we need it all. Okay. So that's one thing we're doing. Now, last thing, if you have not got the book, Flip the Switch, I'm doing a big event January 13th called Activate. And you're probably seeing some communications in your email on that. And you're going to see me promote it heavily. We're probably going to have 1,000 people virtually. There's probably going to be 150 people in the room at the lodge. If you buy 10 copies of the book, you get to come in person at the lodge. And it's going to be a power pack day from 10 to 4. It's completely free. We're pushing out there to people. All we want you to do is buy 1 copy or 10 copies, whatever you want to buy on the book, because this is our way of just adding a lot of value to your life. We do this call every Wednesday. It's called Pray Drive for Lunch. And we do the 5-day Pray Drive Challenge, which is every day this week at noon. Okay. So we hope we're pouring into people, and we're hoping this really helps you. Eric said 250 copies puts me in a room with you. That's right. I'm flying over to do an event for Angela. You buy 250 copies, man, I'll be in the room with you. Okay. I'll come to you. We'll do an event together. Just keep following up, folks. Keep following up. Keep following up. So good session today. Thank you very much. Pray Drive for Lunch. God bless you guys. Love you.